Hi, I'm Chris Ferris, so I'm a cloud security consultant. My focus really is on helping customers on their side of shared responsibility understand the massively complex environment that is AWS.
Hey everybody, my name is Chris Williams. I am the Developer Relations Manager for HashiCorp for North America. I'm also an enterprise architect, helping Fortune 100s to figure out their journeys into, out of, around, and through the cloud.
Hi everyone, my name's Ian Mackay. I'm the cloud principal at Kablamo. I'm also from Sydney, Australia, so I'm a little bit jet lagged at the moment, but I'm really excited to be here.
Great, I have a few questions for you. This is an exciting question. So what were you most excited hearing about in the keynote? So I'm just going to pass it on to you. Please tell us what you were most excited.
Me first?
You go first.
All right. What I was most excited about in the keynote. So as you can see, we all took copious notes watching the keynote and enjoying. These are the most well-attended keynotes that we do because we have to talk about them afterwards. So coming from HashiCorp, obviously I was very interested in seeing the open source contributions that AWS has been making to Rust, using libcrypto, doing the Cedar contributions. Those were all very interesting to me. I'm very appreciative that AWS is becoming so much more open source facing and contributing back to the community. For example, we have security people that are, oh, never mind. Don't hide, Mike. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there was a bunch of really good stuff today. One of the things that I really appreciate about the keynotes is how AWS brings the customers onto stage, how they tie it back to real live things that are happening in the environment. And we as security professionals, we can see, like when somebody comes on and says, oh, we are a temperature sensitive shipping company, you're like, oh, I can immediately think of 20 vulnerabilities, 20 different ways to impact that. So getting them to come up, talk about the different ways and solutions that they're coming forward with is the use cases. Let me TLDR. The use cases that I see on stage are the things that I find the most exciting. What the services that are being announced are being used for out in the wild. Who's next?
I find the launches the most exciting part of every keynote. I think that goes for a lot of people here. One of my favorite announcements from this keynote was the AWS malware protection for S3 using Amazon GuardDuty. I think that's a real strong ask for a lot of my customers as a consultant, because they're saying, I have all this data, I need to put it in S3 through various means, or I'm importing and things like that, but I need antivirus protection, I need malware protection. I don't want to be compromised because of some file that one of my customer is uploading into S3. Right. And so this is a great way to just automatically detect this threat, have it always scanned as it comes into S3, and then tag these things. So you can actually keep the file and say, look, this might be, if you're an antivirus company, maybe you want to see these files or samples come upload, or maybe there's a false positive in there. But I think it's a really great service to say, look, be careful with this file, it's marked as malware. So you need to have all those controls in there, and now Amazon's doing that out of the box for you. Great new service. Chris?
Yeah, I think I'll double down on the GuardDuty for S3. User-generated content is always a questionable thing, and now we have an undifferentiated heavy lifting that is taken off of our backs and handed on to AWS. I think, passkeys for IAM, now I want to actually look, is that passkeys for IAM users or in Identity Center? Because we shouldn't be using IAM users. It's the year 2024, please.
What?
Stop it now. Although two of us did raise our hands when Chris asked who's still using IAM users.
And I slapped him down. Don't use that. Don't do that.
Don't do that, yeah. So
Bad
please
security.
stop using IAM users and start using Identity Center. But if you must use IAM users, please use passkeys and something that's not going to end up in GitHub and everything else. I also really like the culture aspect of it. Because I think between the culture and rewriting, core services in Rust, we're really seeing Amazon or AWS embracing their side of shared responsibility in securing the control plane, which is an issue that we've seen other places. So that one's a big one too.
I actually am going to plus one another thing. The guardrails. Where was it? The guardrails for Bedrock. So I recently had a conversation with some of the policymakers for generative AI down in DC, and having prescriptive guardrails for your use cases was literally, topic number one, bullet point number one. So AWS getting ahead of that with Bedrock. I mean, this is 2024. We have to say Gen AI at least once per minute. So I'm going to sprinkle it in right now. Having those guardrails put in place is a huge step up for them.
I want to see more of what Steve Schmidt was talking about threat modeling, AI, guardrails for what they were doing. There was a bunch of stuff that he kind of went through towards the end that it was just like, oh, we need to get ready for our thing. But this is like interesting, and we need a lot more detail on that. Because I don't think any of us really know how to threat model AI, and what he was talking about, which was effectively continuous AI security testing, seems like, hey, this should be a new Gartner quadrant, and yeah, it's not there yet.
Yeah, I echo those sentiments, and it's really interesting to hear Steve talk about these security checks that still need to take place, and this happens with the AWS service teams right now for any of their new launches, about going through the due diligence. It doesn't matter how flashy a feature is, you still need to do the due diligence to say, this service is checked, it is proper, it will do the right thing. So
we're always going to have our pre-flight checklist.
That's it.
Cool.
This is great. I have another question for you. Everyone has favorites. So what is your favorite part of Reinforce? If you want to tell someone, what is your favorite part of Reinforce?
You first this time.
Sure.
Favorite part of Reinforce?
Oh, my absolute favorite part of Reinforce is the networking that we get to do. I love going around to people and talking to them, hearing about their stories, hearing about how they're using the technology, hearing about how they're using the technology in a way that we never expected, which is always really fascinating. There's some services out there, I'm thinking about IoT services and things like that have been used in ways that we never expected. So that's a great story, and just to engage with the community, hear what's going on, and provide advice where we can. We're all in this together.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah. So we're all introverts, but this is my 1 week of being able to be a slightly extroverted introvert.
Wait, we are all introverts?
We are all introverts. If you're in IT, we're an introvert. Some of us are more extroverted than others, but if you're in IT, you're somewhat of an introvert. So, but this is my extrovert week, and I will come back from Reinforce or reinvent and then crawl into a hole and not want to talk to anybody, including my family, for a little bit as I recharge my extroversion batteries.
Fair.
But yeah, no, if you're coming here, then this is talk to the sponsors, talk to the people in line, find somebody over breakfast and say hello. That's part of what you're here for. We can catch all of the sessions on YouTube.
Awesome. So to that point, any session that, so if I knew this been, never mind. I was going to say if it's been recorded, then I try to catch it afterwards, unless I have questions. If I have questions of the presenter, then I definitely want to talk to them. So my favorite part of Reinforce, honestly, I just got a new favorite thing because some folks came up last night and said that they've been watching my podcast for a couple of years now, and they've gotten so much out of it that it's really leveled up their career. And that is currently my favorite part of Reinforce.
The number of people who, approached me and said, thank you for what you've done, and I'm like, I write snarky blog posts.
Right, exactly.
This is motivating you, but yet it is. And so, that is kind of cool.
I just vent my spleen on camera. No, but I will say, to add to yours, I love the networking. I love not only catching up with folks that I'm trying to come up with new ideas with for shows and content, but vibing with folks that have questions, being able to answer things. It's the networking that the expo hall. The expo hall is what I find the most valuable, and learning about what's happening at Wiz and Trellix, and then being able to bring that back to the company. So, yeah. Was that a good enough answer?
Oh, that's great. So that was a favorite part. I have the last one for you. So let's say tell someone new. So it's new to the Reinforce. What is the one thing they can't miss out? They have to go there. They can't miss out.
One thing they can't miss out on. You go first.
All right. Chalk Talks.
Yes.
don't miss the Chalk Talks. If there is a Chalk Talk on a subject that you are interested in, go, because those are interactive. Those are your chance to have conversations with the speakers and with AWS subject matter experts and sometimes customers subject matter experts. So yes, Chalk Talks are like what I am doing all day tomorrow.
Yeah, I would say +1 to the Chalk Talks, and also the peer. Actually, anything that isn't being recorded. So the Chalk Talks, the peer talks,
workshops,
the workshops, anything where you're going to be hands-on with the creator of the service, 100% go to that. If you have a conflict between a Chalk Talk and a video, and you know the video is going to be recorded and you can watch it later, then I would absolutely 100% pick the peer talk over that. And also, wear comfortable shoes, drink lots of water.
I'm going to go a bit against the grain here. I reckon the expo hall is one of those things you can't miss out on, because it is such a full-on experience, like lights and everything, and talking to vendors. And if you have those vendors that you work with, go up and talk to them. They want to talk with you. They may look very tired, and they are very tired, but they really genuinely do want to talk to you and hear about your experiences, and you should get some swag. Feel free to grab a bag, go load up, and do that first conference experience of getting a bunch of swag, bringing it home, getting really excited about the conference, because it is a really fun time for that first go.
I would also say don't be afraid to approach that person that you want to talk to.
Yes.
There's a lot of really
we don't bite often.
There's a lot of really smart people out here who have made amazing things inside of AWS, and they are literally here to talk to us.
Yeah.
So I have myself had some trepidation in approaching somebody, and then when I finally did, they were like, "Oh, I've been meaning to talk to you for a year and a half. Why didn't you come up to me sooner?" And I was like, then I was kicking myself. So don't be afraid to approach that person that you want to vibe with, that you've been following their work, or you've been watching them do their code. You've submitted a PR, and they had a chat with you online, and now they want to talk to you as much as you want to talk to them. So yeah, get out there, be communicative.
Excellent, great advice. That's all the questions I have. I will pass on to you. If anyone has any questions for those guys, please ask them now.
Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's run the stick around. Mr. Tarbox, what would you like to ask us?
What do you guys think about the whole concept of post-quantum crypto, if I'm saying it right?
Post-quantum crypto.
Post-quantum crypto.
So when they announced
Lib crypto?
post-military quantum encryption, quantum-grade encryption in the Bedrock chips, or not the Bedrock chips, the Graviton chips, that was really wow, what's their threat model here? And, honestly, I think it's cool. It's an awesome flex. But
what are they solving for?
We're also still in the year 2024 where everybody's still doing IAM access keys. So, focus on getting rid of the IAM access keys before you figure out, oh, hey, we need to start using the latest Nitro Enclave stuff.
We are now preventing generative AI from infiltrating the data centers. Wait, we haven't invented generative AI yet.
Yes.
I think the post-quantum crypto conversation is interesting because it isn't an actual threat yet. And depending upon who you talk to, that may be coming or that may never be coming. But the point of it is that we're really talking about a real defense in depth problem where this is a threat that may not be high on people's radars, but we're now starting to get the practices in of using post-quantum cryptography and things like that in order to have the skill set and the experience should that become an issue in the future. Right now, bank accounts, like any secure mechanism uses standard SSL symmetric encryption, effectively, asymmetric encryption. But this might not work in a decade or 2 decades or something like that. And so to bring in these experiences now in terms of using things like lattice encryption to protect your workloads is going to give us the skills to understand how we protect those workloads when that eventuality comes to light.
Nice.
That's an excellent question. We have one more question for you guys.
Hey, gang. Thanks so much for sharing your insights and experiences so far. My question is, based on what's been launched at this keynote and kind of there's been a bunch, what would be the one or two things you're going to take back to your teams to say you should look at this immediately, start delving into this already?
The new Access Analyzer one.
Yep.
I think because one, it's free, and so I don't have to justify the cost. I can kick it on, kick the tires.
Right.
I think CloudTrail Data Lake, generative AI, this might almost be a useful use case
If they're already
for
using Data Lake.
that. Now, CloudTrail Data Lake is still super expensive, and so I'm not sure I would recommend it everywhere. But it's definitely one thing I want to kick the tires on in my fake company.
I'm actually going to dive a little bit deeper into the guardrails for Bedrock. That seems to be interesting. Not just because this is the heyday of generative AI, but it seems to be a good idea to get ahead of that. So, because I love the well-architected reviews, because I love the pillars and everything like that, I want to see how they are leveraging the pillars of a well-architected tool set from the AI perspective. What kind of questions we should be asking somebody that comes up with the next brilliant silver bullet of generative AI, and how do we protect them from themselves? So that's what I'm going to drill into.
I'm going to just re-echo the thing at the start, which is the malware protection for S3 using Amazon GuardDuty. Enabling that for any sort of bucket that accepts user-generated content, uploads, things like that, is super important for any of these workloads if you don't already have a solution in place right now. If you have a solution in place right now, maybe this would be a cost saving for you. Maybe you can reduce that cost using the Amazon managed services. But for right now, even just enabling that and doing regular, even manual audits against the things that have been tagged will really help you and protect you for this unlikely scenario where a user is trying to compromise your security.
So since S3 has been released, Amazon has had the ability to create a publicly writable bucket. And until today, there's been no good reason for it. Now, I just want to set up a watering hole for people to drop their malware that I can have it scanned. I have. Yeah.
Excellent. Is there any other questions?
Anybody else? I think we're good.
There's none. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Please.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.